Have you ever wondered what really happens inside a nursing home? After the tours, after the brochures, after your kids drop you off and drive away? Some people say it's peaceful. Others whisper stories of loneliness, loss of control, of feeling invisible. You might think, at least I'll be safe. I'll have meals, nurses, a bed. But safety isn't the same as freedom. A clean room isn't the same as feeling seen, heard, and valued. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain. You'll hear the quiet truths no one puts in the brochure, truths from people who've lived it. But more importantly, you'll learn what to do before you ever reach that point, or how to make it better if you're already there. These aren't just stories, they're lessons for your future. So stay with me till the end. It might change the way you see aging forever. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you got to decide what time to wake up, or what you wanted for breakfast? It might sound small, but when you're living in a nursing home, even the little choices, like what time you sip your first coffee or whether you take a walk in the morning, can be taken out of your hands. That's exactly what happened to Mr. Howard. He's 79, a quiet man who spent most of his life waking up at 6 a.m. sharp. Every morning, he'd step outside, breathe in the cool air, and sip his coffee on the front porch. It wasn't anything fancy, just a peaceful ritual he'd done for decades. But when he moved into the nursing home, that changed. Breakfast was served at 7:30, and the rule was, no one leaves the building without a nurse present. No exceptions. Suddenly, that quiet, grounding hour he had every morning was gone. He felt like his day no longer belonged to him, like the rhythm of his life had been handed over to someone else. At first, he didn't say anything. He tried to adjust, but inside, he felt more and more like he was just existing, like he was following someone else's schedule in someone else's world. Until one day, he decided to ask for one small thing. He asked the staff if they could bring him a mug of coffee at 6 a.m. and leave it by his bed. That's it. No walk, no porch, just a quiet moment, in his own time with a warm mug in his hands, like he used to. And you know what? They said yes. It wasn't freedom in the full sense. He still couldn't go outside without assistance. But that one small act, holding that coffee at 6 a.m., meant everything. It reminded him that he still had a say, that he could still shape his own day, even in a place where so much was out of his control. That's the power of small routines. They might seem minor to someone else, but to you, they're anchors. They're reminders that your life is still yours. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a certain song you play while brushing your teeth. Maybe it's wearing your favorite cardigan on Tuesdays. Maybe it's how you fold your napkin, just so. The world around you might change. The walls, the faces, the rules. But the little things, those tiny habits that feel like you, they can still live on. And sometimes, it's those very routines that keep your spirit steady. So if you're in a place where it feels like you've lost control of the small stuff, ask yourself, what's one thing, just one, that you can bring back? One thing that says, this is me. And if you've ever had to fight to keep a tiny routine alive, to hold on to a little piece of who you are, then you're not alone. Let us know in the comments. What's your small thing? What routine reminds you that you're still in charge? Type routine matters if you believe it does. Because in the end, those small things, they're not small at all. They're the threads that hold us together. Have you ever been in a room full of people and still felt invisible? It happens more than we like to admit, especially as we get older. The world keeps moving faster and louder, while we start to feel like we're slowly fading into the background, like we become part of the wallpaper. That's exactly how Ms. Linda felt. She was 74, living in a nursing home surrounded by people, but not really connected to anyone. The staff were kind, the other residents polite, but the conversations felt surface level. And her phone? Silent most days. Her grandkids were busy, her children wrapped up in their lives. Holidays came and went. Birthdays passed without a call. She told me, I just started to feel forgotten. Until one day, she got an idea. She pulled out a stack of old postcards she collected from travels long ago, little scenes of beaches, mountains, and lighthouses. Then she sat down at her desk, picked one, and wrote a short message to her youngest grandson. Just a few lines, Hi, sweetie, Grandma's thinking of you. Hope school's going well. I saw a squirrel this morning and thought of the one we fed in the park. Love, Grandma. She mailed it the next day. The week after, she sent another. This time to her granddaughter. Then another to her oldest son. No long letters. No big expectations. Just small reminders. I'm here. I'm thinking of you. And then, something beautiful happened. One morning, she walked to her mailbox, and inside was a reply. Her grandson had written back. Just a short note and a funny drawing. But to Linda, it felt like a door opening. Soon, the replies kept coming. One by one, her family started writing back, calling more often, even visiting when they could. It didn't take much. It wasn't dramatic, but made her feel seen again. That's the thing. Sometimes we wait and wait and wait, hoping someone will remember us, hoping they'll reach out first. But what if we go first? That tiny act of writing a postcard, of reaching out without waiting, can bring people back into your world. It says, I care. I'm still here. I want to stay connected. Maybe you don't have postcards lying around. That's okay. You can write a short letter. You can call someone. You can leave a voicemail just saying you were thinking of them. Because connection doesn't always knock on your door. Sometimes you have to build the bridge yourself. And trust me, it's worth it. So if you're watching this and someone popped into your mind, a daughter, a cousin, an old friend, don't wait. Send the message. Make the call. Write the note. Not tomorrow. Today. Because when you reach out, something changes. You stop waiting to be remembered and start remembering yourself. If you miss someone right now, take a deep breath and drop their name in the comments below. Let's remember them together. Let's bring their name back into the light. You never know how much one small message could mean. And if you believe connection still matters, if you've ever sent a note just to say, I'm thinking of you, let's talk about it below. Because sometimes the most powerful way to feel seen is to be the one who reaches out first. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt useful? Not just kept busy, not just following a schedule. I mean really useful, like something you said or did made someone else's day better. Made them smile, made them think, gave them hope. That's a feeling many people start missing when they move into a nursing home. The days blend together, the routines are set, and slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to wonder, do I still matter? That's how Mr. Benson felt just a few months after moving into assisted living. He was 81, widowed, a former high school teacher. He said the thing he missed most wasn't the big stuff. It was the feeling that his voice meant something to someone, that someone actually wanted to hear what he had to say. Then one day, as he was talking with a nurse about growing up in the 1950s, soda fountains, Elvis on the radio, sock hops at the school gym, she laughed and said, you should tell these stories to everyone. So that's exactly what he did. Every Friday at 3 p.m., he pulled his chair in the common room, brought a little notebook, and just started talking. Sometimes about his first job, sometimes about falling in love, sometimes about how his dad taught him to fix a flat tire with chewing gum and faith. At first, it was just 2 or 3 residents listening. Then a few of the younger staff stopped by. Then the activities coordinator added Mr. Benson's Story Hour to the weekly calendar. Within a month, the room was full. Some came to laugh, some came to learn, and others just came because it felt like home, like gathering around Grandpa in the living room again. You see, he wasn't just sharing stories. He was passing on something real, experience, wisdom, joy, perspective. And that's the truth we sometimes forget. Your life didn't stop having value the day you stopped working. Your memories, your lessons, your laughter, they're gifts the world still needs. So if you've ever felt like your days are just slipping by, if you've ever wondered, what do I have left to give? The answer is simple. You have you, your voice, your truth, your story. You can start small. Maybe write a few thoughts down each night. Maybe call a grandchild and tell them about your first crush or your biggest mistake. Or maybe, like Mr. Benson, just pull up a chair and start talking. Because when you share your story, you give others permission to dream, to reflect, to connect. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start feeling that deep, powerful thing again. I still have something to give. So now I want to ask you, what's one story from your younger days that you've never told, but always wanted to? Was it a big adventure? A funny moment? A quiet truth? Drop a sentence about it in the comments. Just a line. Let's start a ripple. Because your voice still matters. Your past still matters. And somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear exactly what you have to say. Let's talk about something no one tells you about getting older. It's not just the aches and pains. It's not even the slower pace. It's the feeling that people stop seeing you as an adult. One day, you're making your own decisions, choosing your clothes, decorating your space just the way you like it. The next, someone's telling you when to eat, where to sit, and even what to wear, like you're a child again. That slow loss of independence, it's hard to explain until you feel it. It's not always big things. Sometimes, it's as simple as someone laying out a sweatshirt you would never pick, or tossing your favorite old hat because it looks worn, and maybe you go along with it because it's easier not to argue. But inside, a tiny piece of you starts to feel invisible. That's what Betty noticed when she moved into her nursing home. Betty was 84, sharp as a tack, full of sass. And every single day, whether it was raining, snowing, or the middle of July, Betty wore a pearl necklace. Not flashy, not fancy, just classic, simple pearls. Someone once asked her, "Why pearls, Betty? You're in a wheelchair now. You're not going anywhere fancy." She smiled and said, "Because I'm still Betty." That moment says everything. Her pearls weren't about looks. They were her reminder and her statement to the world that she hadn't disappeared just because her surroundings changed. That's the power of personal style. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about holding on to who you are. It's dignity, identity, memory, pride. And in places where everything feels out of your control, your schedule, your food, your medical care, sometimes what you wear or how you decorate your room becomes the one thing that's still yours. So what can you do? Start by choosing one thing that still feels like you. Maybe it's a color you love wearing. Maybe it's an old sweater that reminds you of your college days. Maybe it's putting up pictures of your family or hanging a quilt you made years ago. Make your space yours, even if it's just a corner. Don't wait for permission, because these small choices say something powerful to everyone around you and to yourself. They say, "I may need help walking, but I still stand tall. I may have aged, but I haven't disappeared. I may be in a new chapter, but I'm still the author." So if you've ever felt like you were fading into the background, if you've ever looked in a mirror and wondered, "Where did I go?" this is your sign to bring that person back. With a scarf, rock the suspenders, put on the red lipstick. Whatever makes you feel like you, do it, and do it boldly. And now, I want to hear from you. If you believe that style isn't just fashion, but a piece of who you are, then type "still me" in the comments. Because we're not done showing up in this world. We're just getting started. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you looked forward to a day? Not a holiday, not a birthday, just an ordinary day that felt a little bit special. Because here's the truth. In many nursing homes, every day starts to feel the same. Same breakfast, same hallway, same TV shows. You wake up, and before you know it, the day is already done, and nothing stands out. It's not that life is bad. It's just that it gets quiet, predictable. And after a while, that predictability starts to feel like a kind of numbness. That's exactly how Charlie felt. Charlie was 82, loved music, used to play saxophone back in the day. And one morning, after his third cup of coffee, he looked around and said, "I can't even tell if it's Tuesday or Sunday anymore." So, he made a decision. He declared every Thursday Jazz Day. On Jazz Day, Charlie would pull out his record player, yes, a real one, and spin Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday. He'd sip hot tea from a ceramic mug, not the paper ones the home gave out. And he'd dress up, crisp shirt, slacks, even a little cologne. The staff noticed. They'd stop by just to listen. Some started calling it Charlie's Lounge. It became something more than music. It was energy, identity, joy. And here's the beautiful part. Charlie didn't wait for the home to create something big. He created his own moment inside the walls he lived in. That's the shift we often forget. We don't have to wait for something big to feel alive again. You don't need fireworks. You don't need a crowd. Sometimes you just need a reason to smile on a Thursday. So, here's the idea. What if you picked one day each week and made it yours? Maybe every Monday is Movie Monday. You pull out your favorite old films, think black and white classics or those funny 80s comedies, and watch with a blanket and popcorn. Or Wednesday could be call the grandkids day. Just one phone call, even 10 minutes, to hear their voices and feel connected. Maybe Sunday is Story Sunday, where you write down a memory from your past, one page, one moment, so your family can know it one day. These aren't big things, but they give your week rhythm, meaning, something to look forward to. Because let's be honest, life doesn't stop having joy just because we age. But sometimes we have to reach out and create it. You don't have to do what Charlie did, but you do have something that lights you up, something you haven't done in a while, or maybe haven't shared with others. That's the key. When days feel the same, you have the power to make them different. So here's my question to you. If you could create your own special day, what would it be? Would it be poetry and tea, family game night, dancing in your chair to Elvis? Whatever it is, name it, claim it, and live it. And if you're watching this right now, I'd love for you to share your idea in the comments. Tell us, what would your special day look like? Because who knows? Your idea might just inspire someone else to turn an ordinary Thursday into something unforgettable. Let's bring color back into the calendar, one day at a time. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever stayed quiet? Not because you were fine, but because you didn't want to be a burden? You smile on the phone. You say, I'm doing all right. But deep down you're not. Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe you miss hearing your grandkids laugh. Maybe the silence in your room is louder than anyone knows. But you don't say anything, right? Because you don't want to worry your family. You think they're busy. They've got their own lives. I'll be okay. And so the days pass. And people assume you're okay because you haven't said otherwise. That's exactly what happened with Elaine. Elaine is 76. She lives alone in a small apartment near the edge of town. Her daughter calls once a week. Quick check-ins. Hi, Mom, how are you? I'm fine, sweetie. Just reading a book. But the truth? Elaine wasn't fine. She hadn't had a real conversation with anyone in days. She ate dinner by herself every night. She missed hugs. She missed being needed. One day, after another quiet breakfast, she sat on her couch and just cried. Not because something terrible had happened, but because nothing was happening at all. That's when she decided to say it. The next time her daughter called, Elaine took a deep breath and said, I'm lonely. That's it. 2 words. And those 2 words changed everything. Her daughter paused, surprised, maybe even a little guilty. But the next day, she came over with lunch. The week after, she brought the grandkids. She set up a tablet so Elaine could FaceTime them anytime. She even helped her join an online book club. Not because she had to, but because now she knew. Sometimes, people don't see your pain until you say it out loud. Not because they don't care, but because they can't feel what you're hiding. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? Speaking up doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you dramatic. It makes you honest. It makes you human. And it opens the door for others to show up for you. I know it can be hard. We grew up in a time where you didn't talk about your problems. You just got through them. You held your chin up. But now, connection matters more than pride. If you're lonely, say it. If you're scared, share it. If you just want someone to sit with you, ask. There's no shame in needing others. In fact, when you speak up, you give your family a gift, the chance to love you better. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Is there something you've been holding in? A feeling you've been pushing down? Maybe it's time to say it. Even if it's just a sentence. Even if it feels small. Because that one sentence might change your days just like it did for Elaine. And if you're ready, I'd love for you to write these words in the comments. Time to speak. Let that be your first step. You're not alone. You never were. But sometimes, love just needs an invitation. So go ahead. Speak. You're worth hearing. Just because you're living in a nursing home doesn't mean you have to lose who you are. You can keep your little routines. You can reach out to family and friends. You can tell your stories. You can still show off your style. You can create special days that make life feel full again. And yes, you can speak your truth even when it's hard. You don't have to wait for someone else to make life better. You have the power to bring meaning, connection, and joy into your own space, starting today. Because the truth is, your life isn't defined by a building or a room number. You're still you, and you still matter. So if you've been feeling lost, invisible, or just a little stuck, take a breath. Then ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today to feel more alive? If this message touched you, Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And in the comments, tell us, what's one small thing that helps you feel like you? We're here, and we're listening.